Last week I, 30 female, was invited to a supposedly fancy party by my longtime boyfriend Mark, 32. We'd been dating for 5 years, and while we'd discussed marriage before, there were no immediate plans for a wedding. Excited about the event, I dressed in my best attire and arrived at the designated venue. As I entered the grand hall, I was completely shocked to see all our family, friends and acquaintances gathered, eagerly waiting. It turns out Mark had orchestrated an elaborate surprise wedding for us without my knowledge. Everyone erupted into applause as I stood there, shocked and overwhelmed. I just felt a mix of emotions. While I loved Mark and had dreamed of our future together, the idea of getting married without any prior discussion or consent felt like a breach of trust. So I pulled Mark aside and tried to express my concerns and reservations about the surprise wedding. I explained that I wanted a say in the planning process, to be part of the decision-making and to have the chance to prepare mentally and emotionally for such a significant milestone in our lives. However, Mark dismissed my concerns, saying that he thought it would be a romantic gesture and that I would be thrilled. At that moment, I faced a difficult choice: go along with the surprise wedding, put on a smile despite feeling unsettled, or stand up for my autonomy and voice my true feelings. I ultimately made the decision not to proceed with the surprise wedding, much to the disappointment and confusion of our guests. Now I find myself at odds with Mark, our families, and even some of our friends who believe I overreacted and spoiled a beautiful moment. However, I firmly believe a marriage should be a joint decision, with open communication and shared expectations. Everyone's excuse for this is I've always talked about marrying Mark, and again, the problem isn't marrying him. The problem is not having any say in my wedding. Mark thought I'd appreciate it because I've always spoken about how stressful planning a wedding must be. Yes, I think it's stressful, it is, but I'd still like to plan one. After this whole ordeal, everyone asked if Mark and I were ending things, to which I replied no. I emphasized to them and Mark that I still wanted to marry him, and most feel like this is making me more of an idiot since I just wasted a perfectly fine wedding. So, am I the idiot for refusing to attend my own surprise wedding, even though it was intended as a romantic gesture? Edit: I love surprises. It's a thing everyone has known me to love. Mark knew that I wanted to marry him and said wedding planning was stressful, thought a surprise wedding would be perfect. A surprise engagement is bland because it will always be a surprise, but not a wedding, lol. He threw this wedding for the surprise but explained how in a couple of days we could do a courthouse wedding to make it legal. This was his only way to surprise me. I love spontaneity, but legal marriage or not, I wanted a say in my wedding. To choose the perfect date, to choose my bridesmaids, to pick out my cake. Again, due to these thoughts, everyone thinks I'm the idiot because I could have gone along with the party and done a redo legal wedding. But again, I felt blindsided and confused, so I left. What the heck did I just read? A surprise wedding? A marriage is a partnership, not an ambush. If he marries you without having to ask you, what else would he do with the same excuse? Surprise, I got the new car we talked about. Oh, you wanted to choose the model, have the full experience? Surprise, I got us a house. We talked so much about a new house for us and the kids. We still have kids, right? Surprise, I called your boss and quit your job for you. Enjoy being a stay-at-home mom to my kids. I exaggerate, but you get where I'm going. Make sure you keep control over your own life. I think the house and car are less egregious than a surprise wedding. I think if he showed up with an adopted child and said, surprise, he could one-up himself here. I mean, what we should be doing right now is giving Mark ideas. Honey, get the heck out of that relationship. You are not the idiot 100%. I did go to a surprise second wedding once. It was great and she loved it. But you know, they'd already been married 15 years and it was an anniversary party that she'd organised to celebrate their 15 years. No license is required. But a first wedding? An OP, unless you told your partner you want a surprise wedding, it's ludicrous to expect you to agree to get married on the spot. I'd also ask all my family and friends if they knew about this. Who told this man this was a good idea? My sister-in-law is pregnant with their first child, and I get pregnancy is hard, but for the last few weeks she's been lashing out at my brother non-stop, and you can see he looks visibly stressed out now. She's done it in front of our family and her family. Still, nobody ever defends my brother or says anything to her because they're all excited about the baby. So they're treating her like a queen who can do no wrong. Now, I love my sister-in-law and we've been like sisters since we grew up together, so I felt comfortable telling her to stop. I spoke up after she started yelling at my brother for making her into a whale. He kept apologizing to her, and everybody was coddling her and telling her how beautiful she was and how she didn't look big at all. When we were alone, I told her how she was behaving unfairly and treating my brother badly and stressing him out. I thought she took it well since she said she knew, but apparently not since she started crying to my brother. Everybody is treating me like I'm the devil for making her cry. My brother told me to stay out of his marriage and to mind my own business because I didn't understand what she was going through, and he said I was causing her stress. I tried to explain that I wasn't trying to hurt her, but I felt like she was being mean, which hasn't helped the situation. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I've never seen any friends or family of mine who've had children treat their partner like that while pregnant. She's completely out of line, and your family should be ashamed for treating you like that, for defending your brother, which they also should be doing. Your brothers are spineless for lashing out at you like that. Come on, verbal abuse is still abuse. If the sister-in-law has done this enough times for OP to be concerned, then yeah, you need to call it out. And it's not like OP did it in front of the whole family. OP waited until they could talk to sister-in-law privately, share their concerns, and sister-in-law made mountains out of molehills. I'm sorry, but being pregnant doesn't give you a free pass to treat your SO like crap. Oh, he made her a whale. Also, assuming this was a planned pregnancy, he didn't make her do anything. They did it together. Agreed. People seem to forget that it takes two to tango. She's 50% responsible for making herself a whale. I don't think the occasional "you did this" comments are the end of the world, but if it's an ongoing pattern of lashing out at him in front of you and other people, in my opinion, that's taking it too far. Speaking of which, if she's putting your brother on blast in front of other people, she's the one putting the state of marriage out there. It's a little rich to let the world know how angry you are with your husband and then cry about relationship privacy when other people comment. My boyfriend is a bit angry with me at the minute, and it's got me wondering if I was in the wrong. My boyfriend Josh, 22, and I, 22 female, booked ourselves in to do a scuba course in Tanzania. We started it a few days ago. It involves going through scuba theory, where we were tested and passed, and the instructors brought us to the beach to give it a go today. I really enjoyed it. My boyfriend less so. We're both strong swimmers, so we decided to try it. However, once my boyfriend got under the water, he started to panic. He immediately surfaced and he felt like a panic attack was coming on and wanted to leave. He wanted to get out of the gear and sit on the beach to wait for us, but I gently persuaded him to give it another go because I knew he would regret it later if he didn't at least try and waste all the money he spent. He did give it another go but struggled and sat on the beach, so the rest of us went back out and had a great time. I joined him after and explained how much fun it was and that we saw some fish. He was really happy for me, so I asked him again if he wanted to give it another go, and he just shut me down. He said that my asking before made him feel like he couldn't say no and like he didn't give it a proper go. I argued that he didn't even make it out into deeper water to put the things we learned to use. He maintains that he didn't want to have a panic attack in the deeper water and to put us in danger, and it's not my place to say whether he tried properly or not, because he thinks he did. Was I an idiot? I asked out of a good place because he looked so excited about the fish. I also don't think my asking him to try again was a big deal, because he's done this with other similar adventure activities we've tried and constantly laments he regrets not fully committing to the activity. Edit, he never had a panic attack under the water, he came up before he actually had one. That's why I gently asked him to dive again before he decided to sit out. You are the idiot, not for asking him to scuba dive again, but for later trying to argue that he didn't try hard enough. He's right, it's not your place to say. Your boyfriend did a sensible thing. His having a panic attack underwater could have put others in danger, not just himself. Also, I do get a small sense of you rubbing it in his face that you had a great time and he missed out. Who cares about fish anyway? I mean, taunting the boyfriend with the fish was icing on the cake of humiliation. I'm just as happy watching things from above the water's surface. Your boyfriend almost had a panic attack underwater, and you asked him to do the thing that almost gave him a panic attack again. How is this even a wise decision? You never force a person beyond their comfort zone unless you wish to create problems. Yep, it doesn't matter what other activities he regrets not fully committing to, we're talking about water. Deep water. I had a panic attack while snorkeling on my honeymoon. My husband and our guide got me out of the water as fast as possible, and no one tried encouraging me to give it another go because the money would be wasted. People drown during a panic attack. He's not being dramatic. Scuba diving is a really dangerous activity. My wife and I have 2 children, a toddler and a young grammar school-aged child. Our older child is on the autism spectrum. It goes without saying that this is a very stressful position and neither of us gets very much of a break from this. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and I have a full-time job. As happy as our children make us, it's not selfish for us to both desire breaks. We get them occasionally, but we made a deal to have 2 guaranteed breaks in a year, our birthdays and Mother and Father's Day. On those days, one parent takes on the brunt of the burden so the other can get a day to relax. Since our youngest was about 2, we practiced this. I've never failed to give my wife the day off she deserves. I'll schedule her a spa day or something she really wants to do and get her out of the house so she can relax while I'm on daddy duty. Then, when she gets back, our kids give her cards and gifts and we get a meal from her favourite place after they go to bed. My wife has been less consistent and doesn't really do as much as I do for her. The last year she hasn't really done anything. I typically try not to hold it against her as it's undoubtedly hard, but it does feel kind of unfair. I planned something for myself this Father's Day as she didn't indicate doing something for me. I warned her a week in advance and she said it was okay. This was until about 3 days ago. My wife's old boss's dad passed away. She was invited to the funeral by the boss and she chose to attend the funeral, which was about 2 hours away. As a result, I had to cancel all of my plans and take care of the kids. She was supposed to be home at around 5 in the evening, but didn't arrive until about 10. The kids were already asleep, and my wife neglected to help them get even Father's Day cards for me. We got into a huge argument when she got back. I told her that I felt like she'd really dropped the ball on this and didn't give me a break like I usually do for her. She told me that she's home with the kids all day, just about every day, and I only have to help out after work as far as she's concerned. I regularly get a break and she doesn't. I told her work isn't a break and that I was really looking forward to it today. She said that someone died and I was being completely selfish to make it about me. I said that it was someone she didn't know who was the parent of someone she hadn't seen in over a year. I didn't think I was being selfish in asking her to prioritize my needs just as a gesture as I do hers. She's been angry at me since and we're not talking. Am I the idiot? Edit, she wasn't close to the father. From what I remember, she did have a good work relationship with her boss, but it's not like they were friends outside of work. You are the idiot. Nobody goes to a funeral for fun. Nobody would willingly choose a funeral to avoid Father's Day. It's a damn funeral. Everyone is focusing on the fact that it's her old boss's father, but clearly she felt close enough to drive 4 hours to attend, which you also felt was appropriate and only got mad when she was late getting home. But you know what? It's a funeral, and she drove 2 hours to get there. It makes sense she'd make the most of it. Funerals are special occasions that can't be rescheduled. I'm going against the grain here, not the idiot. Your wife could easily have gone to the funeral and come home at 5. Perhaps brought dinner, made baths and bed while you relaxed. She also could have helped the kids make and do something special for you. Old boss's dad. In my funeral book, that does not really justify leaving the family for an entire day, driving 4 hours and ignoring Father's Day. The funeral was just an excuse to get out of the house. You may have bigger issues than missing Father's Day. Tell your wife you would like a redo. Pick another Sunday for Father's Day. Maybe she'll actually help the kids do something fun for you. This is screaming to me that your wife wants adult time. You get to converse with your colleagues every day. She doesn't. She has you to socialize with, and is that it? Does she go out with friends without the kids? To me, she seemed to jump at the chance to socialize with people she knew and could have adult conversations with. Seriously, think about it and ask her if she's happy being a stay-at-home mom. She may miss working and the social aspect that comes with it. I think this isn't everyone's the idiot situation, but really, you both need to communicate better. Originally, my family wasn't even invited to come, but my boyfriend thought he'd be nice and invited them. I wanted to go to my favourite Moroccan restaurant that does these amazing shared tagine dishes. It was agreed upon and we decided to make reservations and go. The day my dad and youngest brother decided they didn't like the menu or it was too expensive for them to eat, there was a custom meal for them. I told my mom this was my birthday and I'd look forward to eating there for months. So if they wanted to bail, they could. I'm going and my boyfriend is going. My mom started complaining that we could pick something different for my birthday dinner. I said that's fine if they were willing to pay for my boyfriend and I could still go to the Moroccan restaurant. My mom called me ungrateful for not accommodating my whole family on what was my birthday. I should have picked a normal restaurant and this whole mess could have been avoided. I told my mom I didn't even want them there in the first place, but my boyfriend was being polite. My mom called me a selfish witch and refused to give me even a gift now. Am I the idiot for insisting on the food I want for my birthday? I should have picked a normal restaurant. There it is. I grew up in a family like this. I spent too many damn years of my life having Denny's for my birthday dinner to keep my grandparents happy. Now, every year my husband and I get sushi, Indian or Mediterranean. The spicier the better. Not the idiot, your family sucks. God forbid they suck it up for one meal to celebrate your birthday. Do you know what I do when I'm invited to a restaurant I don't like? I eat beforehand, then nibble on something inexpensive and drink water. I'm there for the people. That's what adults do. I'm sorry this is how things played out. How family can mess up the best laid birthday plans is amazing. It's your birthday, eat where you want. Your boyfriend was being nice to invite your family in the first place. He's a keeper. My mom called me a selfish witch and refuses to get me even a gift now. And you think you're the idiot? She's just given you the greatest gift, the opportunity to not be part of your life. And OP, if you're able to, I'd recommend taking it. Happy birthday. Enjoy, and next year, tell boyfriend, let's just do us.